So essentially this is in the game that T1 ended up losing pretty hard. And the idea here, the reason why Faker does this is because like it's not a great play for Faker to have to make. This is a net negative play, but he realizes that his lane is so f***ed. I forget, we'll have to see why the lane is f***ed. But he understands that the lane is so f***ed that he needs to trade his ulti and flash just to like even out the wave so that he's able to get a base at the same time Chovy gets a base. That's the idea here. It's a good dash. The dash ends up hitting a minion, or the dash ends up making the charm hit a minion, I should say. Goes in. I mean, it's like one of those situations where, yeah, I mean, Faker played it well, but it's still a play where they both trade ults and Faker ends up losing his flash, but it's the right play for Faker to make, because if you don't do this, then you're just going to end up dropping waves. Also, I think Chovy is demolished as well. So also, if you don't do this, he's going to get plates. I don't even know who has grubs in this game, but I think Gen.G had grubs in this game. Didn't they have 6 grubs in this game later on? So I mean, it's just the right play to make. But yeah, it's kind of a little anime fight. He needs to trade to get push. I mean, it's not even about like the push. It's just like he needs the wave to be like dead. Like it's not really. He doesn't even care if like he's pushing here or not. He just wants a base on the same timing. Where if he doesn't do this. And I think that I'm pretty sure somebody showed bot, so that's why he knew he was able to go in there. I mean, it is risky, right? Because if Chovy just like predicts what you're doing, if Chovy sees your first dash and he just throws a charm at your face, and you end up getting charmed, you just die and you look like a clown. But this is the confidence that Faker has at Worlds, bro. I don't know, bro. I feel like T1 they show up at Worlds, but people try to make it seem like it's just like some like magical thing where it's like. T1 always shows up at Worlds, but I think that there's a lot of reasons why T1 actually does do well at Worlds. Like specifically this year, we can talk about other years too. Also, I don't know if anyone has that LS tweet to Forest Within where Forest was talking about like the T1 patch. Like obviously you don't know if it's conspiracy theory or not. I know that LS and Forest were talking about how they think that Riot purposely makes T1's champions and just they nerf things that T1 is bad at Worlds because T1 is obviously great for viewership, right? Obviously it's just conspiracy theory. People don't know if it's true. It could just be that the things that T1 is good at are like the more fun champs, and it feels like they try to make the game more fun to watch at Worlds. Whereas like the AD carry style that we saw, the AD carry mid style that we saw through all of summer, like that's just less entertaining for fans. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where T1, like the patches have generally favored them at Worlds. Whether that's intentional or not, can't say. But the patches have generally favored them. That's why I predicted them to do really well at this Worlds, which I have receipts of me saying this, even though people try to pretend like I didn't think that T1 was going to be good at Worlds. I don't know why people pretend like I said that, because like for me, it's if the biggest hater of T1 is saying they're going to do well, shouldn't that mean more? You know, like doesn't that mean more than if like, you know, a fan just says T1's going to do well? There's that. I think that the fact that T1 is a scrappy team. It seems like scrappy teams do better at Worlds than the like Giga controlled teams. Like if you think about LNG last year, or you think about Gen.G over the years, the teams that play slow and super controlled, I think that they normally suffer at Worlds because Worlds is a tournament that takes place over a long period of time and you don't get good practice throughout Worlds. Like right now, imagine who is T1 and BLG scrimming, bro? Who are T1 and BLG scrimming today on a fucking Tuesday? When they're the only 2 teams left in the tournament. They have to be scrimming like literally Giant X and like pickup teams in EU. That's literally who you have to scrim. So when your practice is worse, the teams that are based on like, you know, having clockwork macro, just having like things be heavily setup based, they end up having more cracks in their gameplay because there's less practice, right? So when you have less practice, the teams that are just better at fighting normally end up doing well, and T1 is the best team at fighting in the LCK. Where T1 struggles with, we'll get into the VOD review, is a lot of like macro concepts like side laning. Sometimes when it comes to like their 2v1s, I think their 2v1s are an issue, whereas like, you know, that was something that BLG also struggled with. But BLG and T1, they seem like the best scrapping teams, and that's why they're in the finals of this World Championship. Also, I think T1 is a team that like does pretty well with low practice. I mean, they were the team that was getting DDoSed all year, right? So if you're getting DDoSed all year, you're pretty used to the situation of not practicing too much. So it's one of those like blessing in disguise type things where it's like you're comfortable with the idea of like, yeah, we don't have optimal practice, but we'll still be able to play well. The patches are, when you're playing the game, so far in the future in solo queue that it's very hard to even play solo queue. Like as a pro player, champs queue is kind of dead. Like almost no one's queuing up for champs queue these days. So champs queue is kind of dead. You look at the solo queue patch. The solo queue patch is 14.21. They're playing on 14.18, so you don't even want to play on anything past 14.19 really, because the items are so much different. Your feel for the game is super off. It's just a weird tournament, right? So when it's a weird tournament like that, people that have experience playing it generally end up doing better. How come fans are happy to make Chovy the best player with only regionals this year, but can't take criticism? Well, it's not about taking criticism or not. It's that if you break down what Chovy is doing, he's playing the game better than anyone else. It's not like some like, oh, we're doing it based off accolades. It's not like everyone got together. Like, I'm not even I don't like Chovy like that much. Like his playstyle is not something I really like. I just accept that he's the best player in the world because I can't like ignore my eyes, right? When I watch what he does domestically and I watch how he played at MSI and I watch his laning, like he's simply just the best player over the largest amount of games. For me, it's like, dude, I would love if I could call like Bin the best player in the world, or like Knight the best player in the world. Like I like those guys more than I like Chovy. I think their playstyles are cooler, but Chovy just is simply better than them, like for most of the year. And I'm somebody who cares about like the year. Knight is the best player in the world. No, I still think Chovy is the individual best player in the world. Like I'm not going to change that opinion that I've had for like literally probably a year and a half. I've been just convinced off what I've seen. I'm not going to change that opinion in like one best of 5. You think the argument that Gen.G has major draft flaws that were only recently exposed is an issue? Well, I just think Gen.G, I think that there's major draft flaws on all these teams that are left. I actually think that T1 and BLG have some of the biggest draft flaws in the entire tournament. Like, if you think about it, the tournament is a Yone Aurora tournament, right? This is a Yone Aurora tournament, and neither team is that good at Yone or Aurora. Like, T1, they got to win on Yone, and people are going to hold on to that. But look at how T1 played that series. What did they end up doing later on in the series? They were banning Yone on blue side. That shows that they are not a team that really wants to get B1 Yone. Like, they don't want to play B1 Yone. They were able to steal a win on it, and then they banned it afterwards. Zeus plays Yone? Yeah, but, like, Yone top is not Yone top is good into almost nothing that's being played right now. Like, think about what the meta is. In 2v1s with all the champions that people are picking fucking Jack's top, which is annoying for Yone. People are picking Gragas, like Maokai at this tournament. They're just accepting a 2v1, like Cassante is whatever for Yone. The thing is, if you're going to play Yone, it's not like you get to play Yone versus Cassante and you can like play the lane and potentially get an advantage. It's like you're coming into a lane and you're both at like, you're just both behind the whole pace of the game. Where top lane Yone, you definitely want to be ahead of the pace of the game. Renekton is so good. Poppy is fucking being played at this tournament. That's really annoying for you. Zeus used Yone primarily as a counterpick to Aatrox. That was the lane that he really would always try to play into. Like if you blinded Aatrox, he would go Yone into you. So y'all pretending that Zeus can't play Yone now? Motherfucker, did you just listen to anything I just said? like what the what the I hate it, man. I hate it. I'm gonna die, bro. This is my nightmare week, bro. If BLG, I'm killing myself if BLG fucking wins. If BLG doesn't win Worlds, I'm killing myself. It's over, bro. In game. Like, it's just, you're never gonna see me again. If BLG loses this, I just won't be able to handle the full next year. God damn, bro. BLG has to win, bro. That's the only thing that can save League of Legends. I read his comments. Comment right before that. Buddy, it's obvious. Only Worlds matters. Only Worlds matters to the majority of, like, fans. Like, sure. I completely get that. But only Worlds does not matter. The quality of Worlds is actually, like, some of the worst quality gameplay we see all year. Like, think about it, bro. Think about MSI. You play 15 best of 5s. There's, like, 15 best of 5s. I think each team is like the teams that reach finals are playing 4 to 5 best of 5s in like 11 days versus the best teams in the world. You're scrimming all the time. Worlds, you're traveling to different cities. You have no one to fucking scrim. It's on like a pat, like everyone is like hiding strats. Like there's this whole fucking mind game going on. There's best of 1s, best of 3s. Like your opponents are random. Like the only reason people like Worlds so much is because it's called Worlds. If I kept on saying this, bro, if you were to call MSI Worlds and you just had the same MSI format, you held it at the same point of time, in the middle of the year, and you're like, this is the world championship, or you just had majors who are like, this is the first major and this is the second major, people will just think MSI is a better tournament, straight up.